Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are all doing well despite all the craziness that's going on right now. If you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for being here. If you're an old subscriber, thank you for sticking with me. I really appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, please do go ahead and subscribe. I have over 900 subscribers and I appreciate every single one of you. And the goal is to just reach 1K subscribers, so please just go ahead and support me. Guys, I've just come on here. It's like 2 AM in the UK. There's a lot going on in my head and I just wanted to talk really. At the moment, as you guys know, we're in a pandemic. In the UK, we've lost over 40,000 lives, you know, and I don't know the numbers around the world, but I'm just sort of stating the figures here in the UK. So it's pretty crazy. We've also got the Black Lives Matter protests going on here in the UK as well. That was obviously triggered by the death of George Floyd in the United States. You know, it sort of sparked a global demonstration for, you know, Black lives. What's happening at the moment now in the UK, you've got the far right extremists who are clashing with the Black Lives Matter protesters. So things are looking a little bit dangerous at the moment. A lot of tension sort of building up. We just want to stay focused on, you know, what the Black Lives Matter movement is all about, but you seem to have people who are trying to distract from that. We really need to think about policies and changes that that need to happen in the UK and other parts of the world, you know. It's just pretty crazy as well because with the pandemic COVID-19, it was found that there's sort of disparities, well, between whites and black and minority ethnic groups. So black and minority ethnic groups were being largely affected by COVID-19. They did publish a report, but it's been found that actually they failed to publish the full report, and it's been found that racism and discrimination has played a part in the death of black and minority ethnic groups. So that's the discussion that we're having now in the UK. This is something that I spoke about very earlier on with some friends and family, and with my husband. You know, I was just like, I feel like racism has played a part.
It's caused anger and upset amongst BAME communities. Remember, this report was supposed to make recommendations about how to protect those communities from their increased risk from COVID-19. It's been raised in the Commons several times, and when the Equalities Minister was asked about it, she stood up and said, "We put a black professor in charge of this review." Well, critics have said there's no point doing that if you're then going to ignore all the work that he did. Kemi Badenoch also said that Public Health England didn't make recommendations because they weren't able to do so. But tonight, Channel 4 News has seen those recommendations. Labour has been hugely critical of the statements that the Minister made in the Commons, and they've written to Matt Hancock tonight, Dawn Butler has, asking him if those statements can be corrected. We've been reporting on this story for many weeks now, John, and we were originally told that everything that should have been published was. But tonight, we've been told that the full report will finally be published next week. But here's our report tonight on what it includes. These are the recommendations that the government chose not to publish. At the start of the pandemic, when it became apparent that Black, Asian and minority ethnic communities were being unequally affected by COVID, the government ordered a review. Recommendations were made by Professor Kevin Fenton, who engaged with thousands of people from BAME communities across the country. And what they consistently told him was that the issue of structural racism had a huge part to play. Tonight, Channel 4 News has seen the proposals that he made in his 69-page report, a report that has still not been published. It recommends that comprehensive data on ethnicity must be collected to help mitigate the impact of COVID-19 on the BAME community. It calls for more research into the social, cultural, structural and other determinants on the spread of the virus amongst ethnic minority groups. And it calls for culturally competent risk assessment tools and prevention campaigns. Crucially, Professor Fenton concluded that his sessions had found, without explicit consideration of ethnicity, racism and structural disadvantage in our responses to COVID-19 and to health inequalities, there is a risk of partial understanding of the processes that produce poor health outcomes. Paulette Hamilton is one of those who took part in Professor Fenton's engagement sessions. She told us of her reaction to the recommendations and the anger felt in the community when they weren't published.
They were angry, they were hurt, they felt yet again they were not heard after 1,000 organisations being contacted and asked to take part. I believe they felt that if they left it out, people would make a little bit of noise for a while, but they would go away. But it isn't going to happen because many people have died and we want answers, and it just cannot keep being that if the word racism is mentioned, people run for the hills.
The decision not to publish was raised in Parliament, and critics have described the report that was published without Professor Fenton's contribution as a whitewash. Tonight, Public Health England told us that the important engagement work Professor Fenton carried out will now be taken forward by the Equalities Minister.
You know, it's like, when will Black Lives Matter? Like, seriously, like, what did we do to deserve this? You know, it's very unfortunate, but, you know, we've still got to sort of go out there and peacefully protest. You know, Black lives do matter. You know, people have been saying like all lives matter. We understand that all lives matter, and that's not what we're saying, like, oh, white people's lives don't matter. You know, all lives matter, but right now we're talking about Black lives because we have been affected for so long, you know, and we need the changes and the reforms that are going to give us the changes and, you know, the fairness that we demand, basically. Yeah, guys, I'm just thinking a lot's happening. I was actually watching Juliet, that's on Black Sit channel. She was talking about Black people coming back to Africa, coming back home, and, you know, being amongst our brothers and sisters. Like, guys, what do you think? Should Black people come home? Should they go back to Africa? You know, what are your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comment section. Like, seriously, a lot is going on in my mind right now. I'm like, what is happening in this world? Like, it's just absolutely crazy. So crazy. It's so crazy, guys. I just thought I'd come on here quickly and just talk, really, but that's all I had to kind of say. When will Black lives really matter? It's just crazy, so crazy, guys. So anyway, guys, I won't stay for long because I need to go to bed now. I'm quite tired. So again, if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Love you guys so much. Take care. Mwah.